The ninth step is to recast criticism as espionage and dissent as treason, and you see this more and more. Remember, Senator Clinton criticized the Iraq War, and there was this drumbeat, treason, treason, treason. But you start to see in a closing society more and more laws criminalizing speech.
Leave the Bill of Rights alone. Thank you.
We already saw the White House use laws to silence dissent. If you're charged with the Espionage Act, you can be sent to prison for 10 years. If you're charged with treason, you can be executed. But even scarier are new laws. One that's been passed redefines protest as terrorism, and another that's been proposed simply criminalizes free speech. At the Republican National Convention in St. Paul in 2008, 400 American citizens were arrested for protesting. Over 100 were charged with felonies, and dozens of reporters were arrested.
You are violating my constitutional right. You are violating now.
Sir, I want to talk to you.
Do not arrest me. Right, sir. You are violating
right there. You're under arrest. Stay right there. Back up, back up.
Hey guys, because this...
Among those reporters arrested was Amy Goodman, journalist and host of the program Democracy Now!
Amy, we're going to get you out of here very soon. Yes.
In a nearby park, there was a mass arrest of more than 200 people who weren't even part of the convention protests.
You know, we knew that we hadn't done anything wrong. No one was really even holding signs. No one was really even demonstrating. We were all just hanging out. Out of nowhere, the police tightened in, and everyone's kind of getting nervous at this point. And they get on the bullhorn and they say, "Ladies and gentlemen, you're all under arrest." I'm seeing families and you know, kids with University of Minnesota shirts and and at that point, no one really believed it. But then as they started slowly moving in, it became real clear that this was a mass arrest and that they were going to arrest people without any probable cause, without witnessing any sort of crime other than hanging out in a park.
Under the Minnesota Patriot Act, 8 American citizens protesting the convention were later charged with terrorism.
Get back, man.
H.R. 1955, which blessedly hasn't passed so far, partly because we've been out there beating the drum about it. It was a bill with lots of support, passed in the House, on the way to the Senate, which would basically criminalize this conversation because it was so loosely worded that it criminalized any advocacy of the use of force against the government. Now, this is right out of Stalin's playbook. It was so loosely worded that if you say, as I'm going to say at the end of this, we need to investigate and prosecute anyone who's committed crimes in the White House, that's criminal. And it would implicate you, by the way, as being supporters of criminalized speech. And that is the hallmark of a closing society, because there's now an effort afoot to recast anyone who's critical of the state as a terrorist.
Some members of Congress want to know why President Bush claims he can sometimes just ignore the law if he feels like it.
This president's theory of his power is now, I think, so extreme that it's unprecedented. He believes that he has the inherent authority to violate federal law.